Good afternoon, I'm Alan Unell, and this series of videos is called Healthcare Advocacy, where we address problems in the healthcare system and try and make a better system for all of us. It's Friday the 19th, 2024, and today I want to talk about the Chevron Deference. This is a sort of a subtle point in the law, and on the surface doesn't seem to affect healthcare, but the effects are far-reaching and will be felt in healthcare. So let me tell you, I'm very concerned about a case that's in front of the United States Supreme Court this week. There were arguments heard on the 17th, on January 17th, on Wednesday, in a dispute involving a government-run program monitoring overfishing of herring off of New England's coast. Now that doesn't sound like healthcare, but just hold still. The court's decision could limit the regulatory powers of federal agencies, and that includes the FDA, Health and Human Services, the Center for Disease Control, and others. The justices are weighing appeals by two different fishing companies of lower court rulings that allow the National Marine Fisheries Service, a federal agency, to require commercial fishermen to help fund the program. The companies, led by New Jersey-based Loper Bright Enterprises and Rhode Island-based Relentless, argued that Congress didn't authorize that agency, part of the Commerce Department, to establish the program. So they're saying the federal agency, even though Congress told you to go do something, you don't have authority. Hold that. These companies asked the court, with its 6-3 conservative majority, to rein in or overturn a precedent that was established in 1984 that calls for judges to defer to federal agency interpretation of U.S. laws that are deemed ambiguous. It's a doctrine called the Chevron Deference. We've already seen an avowed anti-abortion judge in Texas rule that the FDA should not have allowed the medical abortion medicine Mifepristone on the market. We've seen courts decide that abortion should be illegal and that grave harm has already been caused. The problem I have is that people who have no expertise are making life and death decisions for others and do not have the training or the education or the capability to make such decisions. They don't have the mental capability to make those decisions. They're certainly trying to usurp that capability in the courts. Now that same logic that ruled against Mifepristone, hold on, could be used to make sure that new vaccines or medicines of any kind are not brought to market. Look, Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida graduated with honors from Yale and Harvard Law School. And he recently commented that by getting multiple COVID vaccinations, you make yourself more likely to get COVID. Sir, from what medical school did you graduate? Because that ain't so. The point is that residing within federal agencies that are given the responsibility to carry out laws created by Congress and signed by the president are some of the best minds in their fields. They are trained and educated to form a scientific hypothesis, determine how to accurately collect data, and how to evaluate the data to identify causality in order to implement the laws that they have been tasked to execute. If we allow judges to strip away their authority, then we can fully expect advances in medicine and in public health to suffer. And if that happens, all of us will suffer. Okay, let's let the president and our elected officials know just how dangerous this is. Now, I want to point out at this moment, down below in the description section, is going to be a link to a newsletter called Healthcare Advocacy for Friday, January the 19th, 2024. And in there will be an action that you can take on your cell phone, or you can call or email the president and your member of Congress and your senators, or you can use ResistBot on your cell phone, And just send a text message to 50409, and all you have to do is say sign, S-I-G-N, P-A-L-A-H-U. That's P-A-L-A-H-U. And here's the email you'll send. I'm your constituent, and I am very worried by the case in front of the U.S. Supreme Court that could strike down the Chevron Deference Decision. A ruling against the government would give courts the right to remove authority from any federal regulatory agency. That includes the FDA, Health and Human Services, Center for Disease Control. That case of a judge in Texas ruling against the FDA on Mifepristone, the abortion medication, that'd just be the beginning. Judges could declare vaccines should not be made available, overruling the FDA and the CDC, or that new medicines or medical treatments are not to be sold. The problem is that judges are judges. They are not doctors, they are not chemists, they are not scientists. There are two things I want you to do as my representatives. I want you to craft a letter or amicus brief to the U.S. Supreme Court and let them know that reversing the Chevron deference could have a disastrous effect on the health of all Americans. I also want you to craft legislation that protects the experts that we have in federal agencies and their decisions that work to protect all of us. Thank you. Okay, down below, you can like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget, the newsletter is down below, the link to it. You can get all of the links and references and actions that I've mentioned today. You can also sign up for free to the Healthcare Advocacy newsletter and have it delivered to your inbox. Have a good afternoon.